Xbox versus PlayStation, which should you buy in 2025? In this video, we're going to break down the pros and cons of choosing each console and which platform is actually winning the console wars. Because the answer might actually surprise you. But first, let's talk about Xbox and the crazy direction that they have gone in. Now, in last year's video, I talked about this in detail, how Xbox was winning the console wars regardless of actual units sold because of their approach to prioritizing software over hardware. For many years now, Xbox has been pushing Xbox Game Pass, which is their monthly subscription service, just like Netflix, that gives you access to hundreds and hundreds of games for around $15 per month. And this service is available on Xbox consoles and also Windows gaming PCs, which is kind of perfect because it lets you play on a console and then cross-transfer all of those saves via the cloud onto your PC and play across a multitude of different devices. And with the new This is an Xbox campaign, it all makes sense why they have done this. Whether you own an Xbox, a Windows computer, a gaming PC, a handheld gaming console, like an Asus ROG Ally X, MSI Claw, and even a Meta VR gaming headset, a smartphone, all of these are now deemed an Xbox console because you can access Xbox Cloud Gaming, or even Xbox Game Pass directly on these devices. This has made gaming way more accessible, especially compared to Sony. Sony's a little bit like Apple. They keep everything integrated within their ecosystem, which is great because it works. Sony has got 3 current console offerings in the market: the original PS5, the PS5 Slim, and the outrageously priced PS5 Pro. Now, the PS5 Pro is a great console, but I'm pretty sure it's like £600-700 still, which is just way too expensive for most people. Combined with these consoles are a bunch of first-party accessories, including the PSVR 2, a whole multitude of different controllers, console covers, headsets, and so much more. Whereas Xbox has always kind of relied on third-party manufacturers to create officially licensed products for their platform. On the flip side, Xbox also has 3 consoles that you can choose from: the Xbox Series S, the Xbox Series X, and also the Series X All Digital Edition. The All Digital Edition is pretty pointless. It's meant to be cheaper, but you're talking £50 cheaper for the inconvenience of not having a disc drive on a 4K console like the Series X and being able to buy pre-owned games. I don't really think it's worth saving £50 up front for that, but if you can get it in an insane deal because nobody wants to buy it, then go ahead and do it. Or if you just love digital games and Xbox Game Pass, then it is the cleaner looking console. I personally think the Xbox Series S is still the best console you can purchase as a next-gen gamer. It's incredibly cheap. You're talking around $250. You can get lots of different console bundles with this, with additional controllers, Xbox Game Pass, codes, and digital downloads to a variety of different games. And it just does the job. It's 1440p, 120 hertz it is capable of. Probably most people are just gonna run it on 1080p anyways. I've got like a little 27-inch monitor on their desk. It does the job for that, and you don't need 4K or anything higher anyways. Unless you have unlimited budget to get a 4K 120 hertz display with HDMI 2.1, AMD FreeSync, G-Sync, VRR support, there's kind of no point at all in getting a Series X or even a PS5 for that matter. But forget about that. Let's actually talk about the future direction these consoles are going in. As it currently stands, the top 5 best-selling games on PlayStation are actually Xbox exclusives. It's absolutely crazy. 80% of the best-selling games on PS5 right now are all from Microsoft. This includes Forza Horizon 5, Indiana Jones, the Oblivion remaster, Doom, The Dark Ages, all games you can get completely for free on Xbox Game Pass, or you can buy them at $60-70 a pop on the PlayStation Store. I know which I would rather choose. However, Sony is proposing to do the exact same thing on Xbox. Helldivers 2 has just been officially announced to be launching on the Xbox platform, which previously was a PS5 exclusive. And there are some rumors that Spider-Man's going to be coming. Not confirmed at the time of filming this video, but the speculation's pretty strong. Currently, different Sony developers are hiring people for porting over to Xbox. It's all over Twitter right now. So console exclusivity probably over the next few years it might be completely pointless because Microsoft proved that it just doesn't really matter, and they've sort of put Sony in their box and showed them that locking everything into your exclusive platform software actually isn't the play anymore. The game's gone. Sony, the game is gone. Now, as I did discuss in last year's video, I was mostly playing on Xbox. You can go, he's an Xbox fanboy, he's got an Xbox hoodie on throughout this video. Of course he's gonna be playing on Xbox. But this changed. Throughout 2025, I've been playing on my PS5, mate. And that's because my Xboxes became irrelevant. Just like I addressed last year, the Xbox platform worked across multiple devices. It was great because I could play on my console at home, take those saves onto my handheld, which at the time was the MSI Claw and the Asus ROG Ally X, which now, of course, we have an official Xbox version of that releasing later this year, which is the Xbox ROG Ally X. I think that's what it's called. I'm hoping that's what it's called. It makes sense if that's what it's called. And that was the perfect setup for me in 2024. I had my home set up with the console, and then I literally could take those exact same game saves on the go when I was on an airplane or traveling or even on a laptop. My gaming laptop could sync it up to my Xbox account. However, as brilliant as this workflow was, it actually made my Xbox console completely obsolete. I now hardly boot up the Xbox, and instead I just play everything on the handheld on my Xbox profile, and then I just play stuff that I can't play on the go on my PS5 when I get home. And yes, I know a lot of the PlayStation exclusives are now ported over to PC via Steam, and you can access those, but let's be real here. It's just not the same. Like, it doesn't really sync up the same. The ports a lot of the time don't really work. Well, they do work, but like Last of Us, for example, the render engine that works on PC doesn't really work very well on a Steam Deck or any form of handheld. It just crashes all the time. So you don't really get the same seamless experience where you just hand it off between devices like you do with the Xbox ecosystem. Now, I would agree that it is sad that Xbox is losing its identity with this whole "this is an Xbox" campaign, because a lot of the devices just aren't an Xbox. Let's talk about the new VR headset that's just embarrassing. The new MetaQuest 3S Xbox edition was a rebranded MetaQuest 3S. It was what was a white VR headset, just released in black with some green on it and an Xbox logo. Nothing about it was proprietary to an Xbox experience other than it came included with a pretty cool controller. And literally all this headset would do is just access Xbox cloud gaming via an app and web browser. So you would just stream an Xbox like 2D screen at like 70 inches or something inside of a headset that would give you a headache, press on the front of your face, and have latency because it was streamed via the Wi-Fi. Not an Xbox. It was actually an atrocious, awful gaming experience that I wish I just never experienced. But I digress. I see the vision that Phil Spencer is going for with this, and I kind of support it. The way Microsoft is bringing the cost down in gaming is quite impressive. With the infrastructure of Wi-Fi getting a lot better worldwide, the fact that you can now stream games over the internet for $10, $15 a month is kind of insane. So everyone can kind of access gaming because of how cheap it's becoming. Now, this obviously has a downside for the game devs. Everything now has no margins in it. Back in the day, you'd buy a $50, $60, $70 game, they would sell it on a disc, it would have a profit margin in the disc. Now everything's just streaming royalties on a platform, which makes it much more difficult for sustainability in the actual marketplace for the game devs to keep going and have the big teams that they need and be able to pay everybody, which is why we see a lot of these big AAA titles have a lot of issues at launch because they just don't really have the resources to do a good enough job. But that's another debate as to whether it's healthy for the gaming industry going down the subscription service route. I'll let you talk about that in the comment section down below because I do read all of the comments. I try my best to reply, and I give them a love heart. But to answer the looming question of should you buy an Xbox or a PlayStation, maybe you shouldn't actually buy either, because right now, we're probably about 12 months away from the PS6 or the announcement of the next generation consoles. It's been about 5 years since the launch of them, coming up 6 years. And these console generation cycles are usually 6 years at a push. And then around the 7th year, they launch the next generation console. We've not seen any mid-gen refreshes on the Series S or X, just storage upgrades essentially for you to download more digital games. And Sony has released their PS5 Pro. And going off the PlayStation 4 timeline, when they launched the PS4 Pro and Microsoft dropped the Xbox One X, it was around 2 years before we then seen the announcements of the PlayStation 5. But if I was impatient and had to buy one right this second, I would just buy a PS5. It's got the best exclusives, let's be honest. Sony's banging out some incredible first-party games, awesome single-player titles as well, which I thoroughly enjoy. They're almost like mini movies that you're playing, and then you get everything on the Xbox anyways. Forza Horizon 5, Indiana Jones, everything that was exclusive to Microsoft, but actually performing better on the likes of a PS5 Pro. Like Forza Horizon 5 actually looks better on PlayStation than it does on the Xbox Series X, which is a statement I never thought I'd ever say. Now, if you are gaming on a budget and you want a cheaper way to access these different gaming platforms, you should check out this video next, because if you like this, you'll like that.